Look, I think Gigi and Shubman might probably take a call on that once they get there, so I don't want to sit here and give a batting order. But once they get there, I think they'll probably have a think about that or have a chat about it.
Just wanted to ask the status again on Mohammad Shami. What is his fitness rate? Was he not fit for all 5 test matches? What's the workload he has had over the time period?
Yeah, I mean he's been trying to get fit for the series, of course, but I think he's had a little bit of a setback over the last week or so, and he's got some MRIs done. And like you mentioned, I don't think he was going to be able to play 5 tests, and at the moment, I don't think his workload is where it needs to be. So it's just the medical guys who've told us that he's been ruled out of this series. It's unfortunately, we were hoping that he's available for some part of the series at least, but if he's not fit at the moment, it's very difficult to keep waiting. It's rather plan with the guys that are fit and available. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Bowler like him, you always want to try and pick, but at the moment he's not fit to be picked.
Yeah, you said it now. Over the last year or so, you've been looking at Shubman Gill as the captain. But how much easy was it, or was it difficult in looking at various options, especially in considering it as the England tour 5 test series, and you're putting a rookie into the captaincy role straight away for a hard tour of England? Somebody like experience of KL Rahul may have helped for this tour at least.
I mean, you don't pick captains for 1 tour or 2 tours. You want to try and invest in something that's going to help us going forward. You always, like I said, you are hoping that it's the right call that we made. We've seen some progress over the course of the last year or 2 with him. There's no doubt it is going to be as tough as it gets, doing a 5-match series in England. And maybe he'll have to learn on the job a little bit. But we are very confident with what he has to offer, and that's the reason we've picked him.
Ajit, was this the toughest selection committee for you ever since you
go to him?
Considering
Okay, so that was the squad which is being announced. Shubman Gill has been appointed as a new test captain. Let me go across to my colleague Vineet Ramakrishnan, who's going to get us all those details. First of all, new test captain. We have a new test captain for the England-India test series. Why the choice? What were the factors which were kept in mind by the board before announcing his name?
Well, it was on expected line. Shubman Gill was one of the names that was doing the rounds in terms of being the new test captain, and the choice is pretty much obvious in terms of how Ajit Agarkar, the chief selector, mentioned in the press conference as well. They are looking at a long-term captaincy here, and because it's the start of a new World Test Championship cycle as well. So Shubman Gill, very young age, is on his side, and with Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma not there, you needed to give that leadership role to somebody who could hold it for a longer period of time, and they have zeroed down on somebody like a Shubman Gill. Even though in his test career, Shubman Gill is yet to attain the kind of level that his potential pretty much puts in, but then again, it is based on how Team India is looking to build or take this team forward. And Shubman Gill pretty much was the obvious choice. You also had a Rishabh Pant who was there in the leadership group. He has been named as the vice captain. And Agarkar during the press conference also mentioned the way he has been looked at as a captain. He's been captaining the Gujarat Titans in the IPL. There were feedbacks from the IPL team as well. He's also captain India in the white ball format as well. So very obvious choice, and Shubman Gill is somebody who would now need to fill in the big shoes of the likes of a Rohit Sharma or a Virat Kohli before him, or even an MS Dhoni even before Virat Kohli. So huge pressure on Shubman Gill, but then again a right kind of a decision where the selectors have pretty much made it clear that they are looking at the future and the long-term future. They don't want to tinker with the leadership group as they would want to. You would had a option like a KL Rahul, but then again, age is not on his side. Rishabh Pant was also in the conversation. Jasprit Bumrah was there in the conversation, but workload management and his injury setbacks pretty much, derailed his stake into that leadership role. So in a way, Shubman Gill makes an obvious choice, and it was something that was always on the cards ever since Rohit Sharma decided to step away from the test arena.
You know, Vineet, we are seeing one generation kind of shifting out, as you correctly pointed out, Virat Kohli going away, and a younger generation coming in. Is this a messaging then, you know, like we have to look for newer, younger talent so that it keeps the pace going?
Well, absolutely, it has to be. You know, if you remember when Gautam Gambhir took over as the coach, one of the biggest talking points was how would he be able to manage the transition of when the greats or veterans like a Virat Kohli or a Rohit Sharma or a Rishabh Pant decide to step away. How do you make that transition work or as smooth as possible? And this is pretty much a way of saying that this is where they are going in terms of future. They have to bring in younger players to who would be replacing a Virat Kohli, who would be replacing a Rohit Sharma, who would be replacing a Rishabh Pant. These are the big questions that would be Indian team would be facing. And with the WTC World Test Championship cycle, fresh cycle starting, you had to bring in young guys, and no one better than Shubman Gill. You're one of your prime batters or prime players who's has age on his side to bring in. And you look at the squad, you have Shubman Gill as the captain, Rishabh Pant again, a young vice captain at the helm, Yashasvi Jaiswal, a very young opener at there. You also have included somebody like a Sai Sudarshan who's just 23 as well. Nitish Kumar Reddy just played his debut series in Australia Test series. He's been retained. You have a Dhruv Jurel, Washington Sundar, Prasidh Krishna, and young Arshdeep Singh also in coming into the mix, and Kuldeep Yadav finally getting his chance when somebody like Rishabh Pant has stepped away. So pretty much it is looking at how India team is building for the next, not just 2 years, 3 year or 5 year cycle, you would say. And it is the youngsters who are coming in, and you have to blood in the youngsters. You cannot be holding on to your veterans. Their time is done in a way, so it has to be, this is the time to bring in the youngsters, and this team selection pretty much gives you a hint of how the Team India is looking towards the future, and it is the youngsters.
But also, Vineet, there is also a sense of cynicism, unfortunately, which is attached when you're making that generation shift. How is that going to be reconciled? I mean, you know, I mustn't have been an easy choice. It may have been an obvious one when you chose Shubman Gill as the Test captain, but may not have been an easy one. This also prevailed upon the selectors. Were they going through this factor also, that will they be able to accept young talent?
Well, there is always this question of whenever the veterans are there or when the veterans move away from the game, how are you looking at this transition? It's not more of cynicism. You look at this team, you look at it from a lens of being hopeful that these are your players who have come up from the system, and it is their time to shine now because the veterans have stepped away. One good thing what happened with Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli's retirement is that it avoided that awkward conversation where the selectors may have to sit the seniors down and said, you know what, your performances are not there. We may have to drop you or something of those conversations. But with Rohit and Virat Kohli deciding to stepping away and saying, you know, we have a very big test match series coming up. It's a start of a WTC cycle. We need to give the chance to the youngsters to really come in on their own. And that is where I think Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli's decision to step away from the game on their own and not being asked to step away was a big plus, where it was very much clear for Gautam Gambhir and the team management that the route here is they have to look at the future. They have to look at from a very hopeful lens rather than looking at, you know, how these guys are going to perform. It is always going to be tough now. Going into the England series, one of the toughest tours, you could say India, history has not been kind to India. They have just won 2 series in the long 90-odd history of Test cricket that India and England have played in England. So it is going to be very, very tough, but this is a chance where it is a make or break thing. Even if this series doesn't go India's way, this is not something we would have to look at that, oh, Shubman Gill has failed or these players have failed. You will still want to give them the longer rope. And that is where seniors not being there in a way helps, because there is no added pressure on somebody coming in and saying, oh, you could have chosen this player or you could have chosen that player. They have retired. What options do you have? You just have this younger ones, the best young ones in your team from the system that you are putting your trust on. And that way, Shubman Gill's pretty much decision of making the captain says that there is full trust on him. And the only thing from here on is to give him the longer rope, even if success doesn't come his way right from the onset itself.